exciting to have standing room only for this. It's an honor to be here. I am Chairman Laura Rosenberger, the Executive Chairman of the Clark County Republican Party Central and Executive Committee. And this is Chairman William Lindsay. He is the Central Committee Chairman of the Clark County Republican Party Central and Executive Committee. So again, it is an honor to be here. And tonight is our candidates night for the candidates who are on the March 19th primary, Republican primary. And we have Mr. Hanson here tonight. Hello, Mr. Hanson.
Hi there.
And does everybody, first of all, have a program that you can follow? Okay, we are going to follow the program tonight. Thank you, and hopefully everybody has a seat who would like a seat. Now, just a few house cleaning items is if you can get through the people, there is a bathroom to the back left. Okay, if there is an emergency, there is a fire extinguisher to the back right, and our exit is right here. That is the only exit in the building, so right there. And another thing I would like to announce before we get on with our candidates night tonight is that we are looking for poll watchers and poll workers. For Clark County, I am on your Board of Elections board. There are 4 of us, 2 Republicans and 2 Democrats. And I can tell you that with all of the snowbirds, we are short poll workers, and we are still taking poll workers. So I do have some information from the Secretary of State and the Board of Elections. If you're interested in being a poll worker, please let me know. You do get paid for that. Poll watcher is a volunteer position that you do not get paid for, and we are also looking for Republican poll watchers to go on your own time on election day to observe at the polls to make sure the nasty Democrats aren't hanging Obama posters in our precincts. So that has happened before, and it is very important that we have poll watchers as well. Who is it? Miss Dorothy?
Ah, there's Miss Dorothy!
Welcome, Miss Dorothy.
You all right? Good to see you. I recognize that voice.
And our Secretary Godin just arrived too. And we will have Secretary Godin lead us in prayer in a minute as soon as I finish with the
I'm
house.
with you. You can sit right next to her. I'll get up.
So as I was saying, if you're interested in being a poll worker or a poll watcher, please see either Chairman Lindsay or me tonight after the meeting. Yeah, 30 seconds. I know. We are also looking for precinct captains to serve on the Clark County Republican Party Central Committee. So if you're interested in joining the party, again, please let us know. We have lots of vacant precincts to fill. The next time this party will meet will be in April with our Central and Executive Committee meetings in April. We have the election to execute now, and this will be our last event until April when we have our meetings. So just a few house cleaning items for you there. Now, before we start with prayer and pledge, I'm also going to review the rules tonight for the candidates. Each candidate will have 3 minutes to speak, and they will go in the order of the program again. And then after all the candidates are done, we will have questions and answers. For the questions and answers, the way we're going to do it is the first 5 people who have their hands up that want to ask a question will get a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. I'll give you a card. And then you can ask the question of the candidate of your choice. You can ask a question that is for all of the candidates. You could do like a yes or no question. Yes or no, and blah, blah, blah. And then they could just all answer yes or no. Or you could ask them a question. We do ask that you do not pontificate or start saying how much you dislike President Biden. Really trying to keep it to a question, okay? And so we will take 5 questions per candidate or per all of the candidates after we're through hearing their speeches. You'll get a card. I think that's it for the rules, so 3 minutes. Oh, and for the candidates, we are going to start with the CTC tax levy for the school, otherwise known as JVS, down on Selma. We are going to start with him. His name is Christopher James, and he's here tonight. He is not on this schedule. So we're going to start with that one, and he will stay, and if you have questions for him, you can ask him questions at the end like the rest of the candidates. And the other thing is that Sheriff Burchett has COVID, so she is very sick and spent the day in bed today, so she will not be with us. But the other candidate, Mr. Clark, Christopher Clark, should be here. Is that him?
He's back there.
Where is it? Oh, here you are. Hello. Okay, very nice to see you all. And there's another member of our executive committee. So before we do our prayer and our pledge, you can raise your hand right now. Does anybody have any questions or concerns? No? Okay, hearing none, we will ask our Secretary Godin to come up and say a prayer, if she will, and then she'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you.
Thank you. It's so good to see all of you packed into this room tonight. Okay, shall we pray? We thank you, Lord, for the privilege that we have to elect our officials, Lord, to serve us, Lord. And we want to be good servants that are being served. We thank you for all that has come tonight. We anticipate each one as they speak, Lord, that you will give us directions in how we will vote. Thank you again for their willingness to come and share. Thank you again for Laura and Bill and all that are part of our party, Lord. We just want to be a party that is for America and that is for life. We thank you for that, Lord. In your name I pray. Amen. Amen. Okay, we're going to say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Secretary Godin. So that officially begins our candidate night, and we will begin with Group 1 for the 2nd District Court of Appeals. Oh! Get into that reading mode, and there's no stopping me.
Showed up late, so you should go.
Yeah. I've got enough slack here tonight, so. Here's my stuff. And again, we have Chris James from the CTC to speak with us about the tax levy. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. It's a great turnout, and I'm sure it's because you heard that the CTC was in this. And that's why you're here. And I do appreciate the Lent comment of, good little Lutheran here is giving up sweets for Lent, so I appreciate the no snacks to tempt me. Thanks for having me here. Good luck to all the candidates here tonight. I didn't know that I was only going to have 3 minutes because I didn't know I haven't done this before, so I'm going to speak like I do at staff meetings. I am Chris James. I'm the executive director at the CTC. And I always used to have to explain the executive director for you, if you're wondering, what does that even mean? It's way easier if you just go, he's the principal. So the principal of the CTC, it's like a high school, and that's what I do. I'm all about kids. That's why I'm here on my own time. Real quick, from the southwest side of Columbus, I did move to Clark County, so I'm a Clark County resident, Spanish American. Lived and worked in Clark County for over 20 years. I'm now getting closer to that time of retirement, which is kind of fun to look at now. Because I've been in education over 30 years. Probably, depending on where I'm speaking at these different places that they send me, I'm not sure if it'll be another political type of thing. But here among you, I think I can say, I'm a registered Republican. that anywhere else, I guess. In the world I come from, there's a lot of things you can't say. So I guess I can say it around here. So I wanted to make sure that you kind of know about the levy and what we've got going on. By the way, I'm not a politician too, but I have run for office and won as a Republican, right? I was a board member, school board member. But I did do that. So wanted to make sure that you knew about the CTC. It used to be a lot of the, I'll say older people would say, I'll say CTC and they'll go JVS, and I go, yes, that's right. So we were the JVS a long time ago, now it's CTC. And we definitely need a new school. One of the things that I look at is I'm always talking to students, and we have some that went today even, when they compete and they go to these other career centers, it's just like the schools in Clark County that have new schools. When our students go to these other career centers, they see what these other career centers have. It's state-of-the-art things that are creating and building and training tomorrow's workforce. And I used to say that when I was a Clark County high school principal in the same way when needing a new school. You know, the value of our students, that goes into what they feel as how valued they are, and they see when they go to these other schools and go, oh my gosh, wow, look at Greene County and look at what they've got. They're down at Butler Tech today, and they're going to look at what they have, and they come back to their building and it's raining inside our school. So it's the oldest career center in the state of Ohio. If you didn't know that, history lesson. And it looks like the oldest career center in the state of Ohio when you go inside of it. But we do a lot of great things. We believe in making people college ready, career ready. A lot of people don't realize our students go to college as well. They think it's just for students that are trying to learn a trade, but we have both. They can do everything there. Ever since I went from a regular high school K-12 building to the Career Center, I was never going to go back, because I believe that's the education that our students should have. They have a choice to come there and learn a trade, go still to college, and have something that they can fall back on and make money on immediately. And to have that kind of training for me, and you put me in the old days of home ec or something like that. I hate to cook, and I don't want to cook at all. Didn't want to then. They shoved me in those classes, in those electives, but when you come to the CTC, you learn something. Those kids find a passion for what they're doing. And so to have a beautiful building for them to be able to learn in, it's tremendous in what we need. We've got literature in the back there, and we've got signs up here as well. I hope, because that 3 minutes went really, really fast, that there are going to be people that are going to ask questions, because I did have a whole PowerPoint and everything ready to go. I just knew that I started scratching stuff like, can't say that, I don't have any time. So I hope there's more questions. The biggest thing I can say is, just like a lot of times when you're with the High School Facilities Commission, which is not called that anymore, but whatever it's called right now, the biggest thing I always worried about, especially, and I did this when I was at Northeastern High School with the community, is the scary part is that if we were to turn it down, we're turning down $40 million and just turning it down, because if we don't pass, then we don't get that money, and it doesn't come back around.
Here's my check.
So thank you. Thank you for the time.
Chris.
I was gonna do it.
And Chris, I have to ask you, did you have any trouble seeing Mr. Rosenberger back there with his sign?
Oh, no, he was in.
Okay, because we originally had him sitting up here, so we do have a seat here. If somebody would like to take this seat here, we have an empty seat. But for the candidates, like I was just mentioning with Chris, Mr. Rosenberger will be back there with the 30-second mark for your 3 minutes, and the 1 minute for the question and answer. So now we will move on to the 2nd District Court of Appeals. We have 2 candidates for that, Mr. Chris Epley, who is Judge Chris Epley, and we also have Mr. Robert Hansman. So because we are taking the names tonight in last name alphabetical order, we will start with the representative for Mr. Epley, and that is my good friend from Dayton, Missy May.
Hello, everybody. It's nice to see everyone. I haven't been in Clark County in quite some time. I actually haven't been here for a while because, let's see, in 2016 I was the regional political director for Trump's campaign and got to spend a lot of time with Laura, and I am so happy to see so many people in the audience today and to have a full room like this. But Chris is not here today, and I call him Chris. I don't call him Judge Epley because I've known him for about 15 years, and I knew him before he was a judge, and so I refer to him as Chris. But Judge Epley, Chris, is not here because he is at his daughter's state swim meet. So he likes to support his kids, and one kid's in college, and the other one is on their way to college. So he is doing his dutiful duties as a father. I did write something out. I didn't know that I had a time limit, but I'm glad that I did. So to start off with, I stand before you today not as myself, but as the voice for an individual who embodies dedication, integrity, and service to our community, and that is Judge Chris Epley, appellate court Judge Chris Epley. Judge Epley is more than just a legal figure in our community. He is a devoted family man, a proud husband to Eileen, and a loving father to Jack and Lily. He was actually born and raised in our area and has spent 22 years in our legal community. Judge Epley has not only practiced and taught appellate law, but has also served as a magistrate in municipal court, and his extensive tenure as a municipal court prosecutor, handling appeals for the office, has equipped him with a comprehensive understanding of various legal realms, which include criminal, civil, probate, and family law. His dedication as a guardian ad litem, which is definitely close to my heart because I'm a CASA. I serve as a CASA in Montgomery County. But for 20 years, he served in that position. Beyond his legal expertise, Judge Epley has actively engaged in public service, holding positions as an elected precinct captain, school board member, and city council member. I got 1 minute, so the last thing that I'll say about Chris Epley is he is probably the hardest worker I have ever met in my life. He is the first person that arrives at the court, and the man rides his bike to court every single day, unless it's bad weather outside. But the man is a hard worker. He's dedicated to our community, and I am proud to call him my friend, and I think that he will continue to serve us well as an appellate court judge. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Missy. And we now have Mr. Robert Hansman, an attorney from Dayton, and he too is running for 2nd District Court of Appeals.
Hello, everybody. I'm Bob Hansman, or as my sign says, Robert Hansman. I guess that's the fancy way to put it. And thank you. Am I holding the microphone wrong?
Louder.
Louder. Okay, I'm so sorry. I rarely get the comment that I'm not loud enough, so I'll do better. But thank you for putting my sign in the window. I am the other candidate for the 2nd District Court of Appeals. That district covers 5 counties, including this one. I live in Centerville, Ohio, along with my wife, Leah, who's here tonight, and our 3 children who we're raising there. There's 5 judges on this court, and one of them is retiring, and that's Judge Jeff Wellbaum was retiring. He can't run again due to age. So there's an opening in the court, and that's what I'm running for. I grew up in this area, went to Fairborn High School, went all the way through the Fairborn school systems, and then I went to Ohio State University and George Washington University Law School after that. I've always been a Republican my entire life. I was selected as a White House intern while I was still in college, and it was great fun to serve the first President Bush. In addition, I was the treasurer of the College Republicans for a couple of years as well during the first Gulf War, and we had a lot of stuff going on campus at Ohio State at that time, so that made it kind of fun and exciting. After law school, I did not join a law firm, but rather joined the military. I come from a long line of military people. My father was a Vietnam vet. My grandfather fought in World War II and Korea, so I wanted to do the same thing. And so I became an Air Force Judge Advocate General, or JAG, and became a prosecuting attorney, did a lot of court-martial trials. It was fantastic training for a young lawyer. And I was also named Special Assistant U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Texas and prosecuted people who committed crimes on base there. But eventually the military moved me to Wright Pat. We were happy to come back here. I've been practicing law for 28 years, which has been a privilege. And basically, I'm running for a couple of reasons. Two that I'll highlight in the brief time that I have is I'm concerned about the erosion of our civil liberties in this country. I believe our government is acting all too often as our opponent and not our friend. I view things like what happened in Loudoun County, where the father of a daughter who was attacked in a restroom by a transgender student, complained at the PTO meeting, and got dragged out and treated as a domestic terrorist. And one of our Ohio congressmen recently revealed that the government is tracking who buys Bibles and guns, specifically at Cabela's guns, and who buys Bibles, and profiling them as domestic terrorists. It's just outrageous. As a judge, you have the opportunity to uphold civil rights and civil liberties. And we come from a long line of people very suspicious of the government that goes all the way back to our founding, and I think we should uphold those values. The second thing I would say is, I believe that justice should be blind, and there should not be laws favoring one group or the other. I'm against things like, let's say, affirmative action, or as they now call it, DEI. And I'm against the unequal application of laws. It seems to me that in this country, some people get to tear down statues and are hailed as heroes, and other people tear down statues and are not criminally prosecuted for it. And it's wrong. You have to treat everybody the same. So that's why I'm running, and I really appreciate the support I've received from the community. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bob. And now we are going on to our state Senate race for District 10, which is Clark, Greene, and Clinton counties. We have 2 candidates for that race, and again, we're going in last name alphabetical order. So I will introduce to you Mrs. Carolyn DeStefani, who is from Greene County, and she is our first candidate tonight out of 2 for State Senate, District 10. Thank you, Carolyn.
Good evening. I'm delighted to be here with each of you tonight. I am Carolyn DeStefani, and I'm your small but mighty State Senate candidate. And tonight I will discuss my leadership skills, my experience, and my value-based legislative priorities that make me uniquely qualified to be your next Senate 10 district senator. My leadership skill is exemplified as a township trustee, and I have had federal, state, county, and township experience in that regard. At the federal level, I was part of a team that secured $5 million of federal money for our Wilmington Pike I-675 infrastructure program from Congressman Turner. At the state level, I was able to work with our current Senator Bob Hackett when we had the COVID restrictions for the townships. We had to find a way to conduct business where we could have voting and remote meetings, and that was able to help 1,308 townships throughout the community for that. At the county level, I've worked with our county commissioners to secure money for our Veterans Memorial, and through grants and other affiliated fundraising efforts, we've been able to do that with no new taxes for our community, and it will represent all of the military branches. And I was also inducted into the Greene County Hall of Fame by the current county commissioners. At the township level, I am very fiscally responsible, and our police and fire departments are in the best shape they've ever been, and our fiscal officer just announced that we are in the best shape financially we have been in 20 years. And I was just earlier this month recognized as one of 13 township trustees in the state for achieving their Leadership Academy Level 2.0. So that's leadership. As far as experience, it is highlighted by being a military veteran who served during the Gulf War. I have base access to both Wright-Patterson Air Force Base and Springfield Air National Guard bases. I held a current security clearance, and I do have military affiliations with all of the bases in the area. I have technical skills, re-engineering, and emotional aptitude, and I facilitate township meetings where we can have up to 40 upset people, and I help them feel heard, understood, and that we reach a general resolution. I am a mother and grandmother, and I understand that what we do today will affect future generations tomorrow, and that if we lose our kids as a country, that we will lose our nation. I feel very, very strongly about this. I am a pro-life, I am pro-family, I am pro-Second Amendment, I am interested in backing economic development, education, and issues dealing with immigration. In summary, my entire life has been a training ground to prepare me to be your next Senate 10 state Senator. I am Carolyn DeStefani, and I ask for your vote at the Republican Party on March 19th. God bless each of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Carolyn. And now I will call upon, if you can wiggle his way through there, Mr. Kyle Kaler, who is from
Yeah, we
Clark
want to hear
County.
her talk.
She's speaking for me. I'm gonna set that down because I want to control her while we stand up here. I'll talk loud. Good evening, my name's Kyle Kaler. This is my granddaughter, Annie Kate. I'm running for state senate as well. I'm glad you're here tonight. It's glad to be. I'm glad to be here. My granddaughter and I are here tonight because I care deeply about Ohio. If you know me, you have my biography on the back of the paper, and you have the endorsements I have. The only one's not on here is the NRA. I just got that the other day. You also have a list of legislation that I've passed in the past 8 years. Many people know me from different activities. Hopefully you know me that I was your state representative for 8 years. I served in the Ohio General Assembly. I served in the state legislature. I served in the Ohio House. What that means is I was in charge of the 120,000 people that live in Clark County. I'm running for the state legislature again in the state senate, which means I cover 3 House districts. So instead of 120,000 people, I will serve 360,000 people. 3 times the people, 3 times the responsibility. During my term in office, you will hear my opponent and I say the same thing. We're pro-life, pro-gun, we're for lower taxes, we're smaller government, less regulation, no corruption. She's a wonderful woman. I respect her for saying that because that's what we should be doing as Republicans. The difference is I have 8 years of experience doing that. I have 8 years of experience fighting for pro-life bills. I voted for the 20-week, pain capable bill, which is 20 weeks. I voted for the heartbeat bill. I co-sponsored both of those bills. I helped carry them, helped pass them. So when I say I'm pro-life, I'm not only promising it, it's because I have the experience doing it. When I say I'm pro-gun, I fought for the constitutional carry bill 4 terms. I co-sponsored each time, helped carry it. I voted for it 3 times. There's no other legislator in Ohio that can say they co-sponsored it 4 times and voted for it 3 times. We passed that bill. More importantly, I stood on the House floor and amended my bill to repeal the duty retreat into another bill so we could get it to the governor. And after a 10-year battle, I'm the legislator that repealed the duty retreat. So when I say I'm Second Amendment, it's because I have a history. It's not just promises. When I say I'm for lower taxes, I voted to reduce your taxes in every budget I voted for. I also stood on the House floor and argued against the gas tax. Only one of 2 legislators that did that. I voted no on the gas tax because I think we need to cut spending instead of increasing your taxes. And finally, if you know anything, I'm the one that stood against corruption in Ohio. When I tried to pass the payday lending bill, the speaker at the time was taking money from the payday lenders and had to resign because he was being investigated by the FBI. 6 months later, the next speaker used $60 billion of your money to grab the gavel and take over the Ohio House of Representatives. I want you to know, on that nuclear bailout bill, I voted against the speaker, I voted against this bill, I voted to remove him from the speaker's chair, I voted to remove him from office. I testified in his trial. He's now in jail for 20 years. When I say the same things as my opponent, I have 8 years of experience doing exactly the things. Pro-gun, pro-life, lower taxes, smaller government, against corruption. I'd like your vote for state senate on March 19th. Thank you.
Water there. Thank you,
And if
Mr.
I
Bailey.
leave before the questions, it's because I'm getting her back for bedtime. I thought we were doing questions right afterwards. Sorry
You
if
can
that
bring,
happens.
you can bring her home and come back. So now we are going on to our Group 3 for State Representative District 71, which does encompass a very strange path through Clark County, as well as Greene County and Clinton County, I believe. Did I miss any of those counties? Okay. So for State Representative, District 71, again, in last name alphabetical order, we are starting with Mr. Joshua Day.
All right, thank you. Glad to see all of you out. I got a bunch of new faces tonight, so I can repeat some of my stories, and you guys haven't heard them yet. But a little bit about me. My name is Josh Day. I'm running for the District 71 State House seat. I am an aerospace engineer. I worked about 8 years for the Air Force as a civilian and recently switched over, worked for GE. In that time, I led major programs like structural testing of the F-35, F-15s, and our hypersonic weapons development. Now I do the same thing, leading hypersonics weapons testing for GE. And so through all that, I don't know if you guys have met many engineers, but if you have, you know it's not an easy thing wrangling a bunch of engineers to get work done. But that's what I did and do. So I think that will definitely help me when going to the State House to wrangle a bunch of lawyers into getting things done. Let's see, my wife and I have been married for 11 years. We have 4 kids, ages 8 down to 2, and they are everything to me. They're a big reason to why I'm running. They're why I ran for school board a couple of years ago and got on school board in Xenia. In my time on school board, I got rid of the mask mandates. I pulled our school out of the lawsuit against the backpack bill, showing support for parental rights in education. And I made sure that we would not participate in sports against any schools that allow boys on their girls' teams, to protect our women's sports and our girls. So I think those things are very important, and I think that those things translate well into what we're trying to do at the state level to protect our families and protect our children. A story. Here's my story. So it's about my family and a big reason why I'm running. In 1852, my great-great-great-grandfather, Timothy Crane Day, declined the Democratic offer to nominate him for the upcoming national congressional elections, not because he wasn't interested in serving his party and his country, but because he wanted to root out corruption in his party here in Ohio. Over the next few months, he used his great determination to undermine and eliminate a corrupt political machine called the Miami Tribe. He accepted the nomination for a congressional seat 2 years later, but broke with the Democratic Party over their stand on slavery, in particular over their attempt to extend slavery into the western states. In response to criticism from his former party, he wrote, "I have been denounced by a servile party press as a traitor to my country and her free institutions. I am content with the title. I am a rebel to a corrupt government as the best men of the past have been in their rebellions against tyranny. When a religious government claims infallibility for its decrees and demands blind obedience from its followers, I say, God bless the heretics who are denounced by its councils. And when a political government becomes corrupt and tyrannical, I say, God bless the traitors who rebel against its authority." I stand by what my great-great-grandfather stood by, and I want to help rid our government again of the corruption that we see again. And that's why I asked for your vote on March 19th. Thank you.
Thank you, Josh. And now we call upon Mr. Levi Dean from Xenia.
Hi, everyone. First off, I just want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. It's a packed house. It's pretty warm in here, but I'll make this short and sweet. So my name is Levi Dean. I'm running for state representative. I'm one of 10 children, come from a very big family of Bill and Pamela Dean. Bill Dean is your current state representative if you live in the House District 71. If you don't, Bernie Willis is your representative. But I'm a co-owner of a family business, Dean's Plumbing, blue-collar worker. We've been in the district for my entire life. We know how to start business, grow business. We know what it takes to sign both sides of the paycheck and things like that. So for the past 6 years, I've been on Xenia City Council, and a few of the things that I'm most proud about on council is my stance on guns. I'm 100% pro-gun. When I was first elected to council, it was illegal to discharge a firearm within the city limits, and there was no exception for self-defense. We got that changed and removed to allow an exception for self-defense within Xenia. We also included bow hunting within the city of Xenia. There's lots of parts of the city that back up to woods and streams, and there's lots of deer and coyotes that come into there. So now you're legally allowed to kill off those animals that cause damage to your trees, your gardens, and possibly kill pets. So that's another big thing. We all know, though, that the Second Amendment is not about hunting. It's really to control a tyrannical government and to ensure that they don't infringe upon our rights, and that's the most important thing. So I am 100% pro-gun. On another issue, pro-life. When I was first elected to City Council, our employee insurance policy allowed for taxpayer-funded abortions at the cost of Xenia City taxpayers. I got that removed from the insurance policy, and I also put in a prohibition against any other elective procedures, such as transgender reassignment surgeries and other things like that. So I'm 100% pro-life without exceptions. Lots of people are saying after this election in November, which we are all disappointed about, that Republicans would be quiet on the issue of life, that it's not a winning issue. For me, it doesn't matter whether it's a winning issue or not. I want to win an election to save babies. I don't want to use babies to win an election, period. On the other thing is I'm fiscally conservative. We passed multiple balanced budgets. We fully funded police and fire, and we did that without I ever voted to raise anyone's taxes. So that's all I have. If you would consider voting for me, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Levi. And our next candidate is Mr. Bob Fudge from Cedarville.
If I just stay here, will Bob not be allowed to speak?
Rumble. And again, we do have water in the back for anybody who needs water. Mr. Bob Fudge.
Thank you all for coming out here tonight and putting up with the heat. Actually, tomorrow we're going to appreciate this. Let's say my background, I'm running against Josh and Levi, and Tyler's not coming tonight. I'm not sure if he told you. So I live in Cedarville. My background is I grew up in Oregon. My family nobody in my family has ever gone to college before. My dad was a log truck driver, 8th grade education, just worked hard all his life. The only thing he ever told me, I don't care what you do, just don't drive truck. But there was no money for college, so I joined the Air Force. I said, what the heck, I'm going to join the Air Force, go in 4 years and get an education. Then I got some money to re-enlist, and I did 4 more, and then I was halfway there and decided I'll do a career. I did 25 years in the Air Force. During that time, I started out enlisted. I went to school at night. My wife actually raised our kids while I worked and went to school. Finished my degree in government and politics. She talked me into applying for officer training school. I was old. I was 33 years old. I was a master sergeant. And I said, well, they're not going to take a guy like me. But sure enough, got selected to officer training school. Graduated as a distinguished graduate from OTS. Was an aircraft maintenance officer. So I worked F-4s, F-16s, A-10s, F-15s, B-2s, AWACS, bunch of aircraft. 25 years serving my country, which is the best job in the world, as several people in this room can attest. While I was teaching ROTC at Marquette University, I finished my law degree. I did not really intend to practice. I thought someday maybe I'll run for a representative job where I can work in the legislature and write legislation. And having that basis of understanding, I think, will be useful in Columbus. A year after I retired, we moved to Cedarville, became the mayor 5 years later, so serving on council. I wanted to continue my service, not only to my country, to my community, and served on council for 4 years, mayor for 8 years, and I'm also the CEO of a small business in Xenia, Ohio. My goal, I'm a nuts and bolts kind of guy. I'm not flashy. I want to work with the county commissioners, the township trustees, the municipalities to represent our interests collectively in Columbus. And that is one of the reasons I've received the endorsements of Bernie Willis up here in Clark County and Brian Lampton in Greene County, because they both see me as the guy most qualified to work with in Columbus, and I would appreciate your vote so I can do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob Fudge. And our last candidate for House Representative District 71 would have been Tyler Scott, but I do not believe he is here tonight with us. So that closes out the House District 71 race. Thank you, gentlemen, for your speeches. We appreciate it. And again, be thinking about your questions. If you didn't hear the rules before, I will be taking the first 5 people who raise their hands for questions tonight. I'll give you a card, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the respondents have 1 minute to answer your question. So be thinking about those, please. Now, we have a local county race for Clark County Commissioner to fill a vacancy. Our current Commissioner Lowell McLaughlin is not rerunning. So we first have Mr. William Lindsay for Clark County Commissioner.
Thank you, Chairman Rosenberg. Can everybody hear me without the microphone?
Yep.
Good. As the chairman said, my name is William Lindsay. I am a 7-year member of Carlisle City Council. When I first went on council in 2016, the city had a budget of $275 in their general fund. That's what prompted me to get on, to run for council and get on there. When I left council 4 years later, we had $1.2 million in the general fund. It was the healthiest general fund they ever had until last year, and it's even better than that. The things that we implemented back then, some of them are still in process right now, as far as trying to figure out how not to spend taxpayer money. At least that's my goal. We never hear about how not to spend money. It's always about how can we spend more money. The elected officials need to understand that money is not theirs. It doesn't belong to the county or the state or the feds. It belongs to all of you out here. And people who are in these offices need to understand that and do what they can, if at all possible, to cut budgets. I haven't seen a budget yet that could not be cut somewhere at some percentage. Of course, the establishment does not like hearing me say that. A little bit about myself. I just had a birthday, so I'm 70 years old. People say I look good for 70. I don't know. It's all in the eye of the beholder, they tell me. I ran multiple businesses in my life. I was a landlord for 20-some years. I used to buy and flip houses. I've owned various businesses. One of them was a bullet manufacturing company I owned. I ran it for 10 years. I woke up one morning and said, okay, I'm done with this. I need to find something else to do. I am very 100% pro-life, pro-gun, pro-constitutional carry, anti-abortion, pro-children at all levels. Like everybody said earlier, our children are our future. If we don't take care of our children, our future is doomed. This country is doomed. So that's pretty much all I got to say. I've been flagged that I've got less than 30 seconds, I think. So thank you all for coming out, and I'm glad to see everybody here. And one other note, in case you don't know, I am the chairman of this Clark County Department Executive and Central Committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Lindsay, and I would like to note that we're glad he's here today because he has been in and out of the hospital for the past 3 weeks. So we're glad to have you back. Now, our next candidate for Clark County Commissioner is Matthew Quisenberry. Is he around the corner there?
Yeah,
okay, welcome, Matt. Okay. Thank you, Matt. Uh-oh. Did he make you wear the dunce hat?
He tried, but I refused. Sir? Hear my name up here? Yeah, but now he's in the corner, so it's his turn. Yeah. How's everybody doing? I'm Matt Quisenberry. This is my first time running for any office. I'm a Springfield native. Grew up in Moorfield Township and graduated from Kenton Ridge and JVS, or now CTC. I've been with my wife now for 20-some years. 20-some. We have 3 boys, 18 down to 9.
who also attends CTC. After high school, obviously I'm pretty young. I'm 38. He came shortly after I graduated from high school. I joined the working force. I was an auto tech at JVS, and then I went into construction. So roads and bridges is my specialty. I travel around Ohio. We do inspection for ODOT, municipalities, communities, counties. My specialty within the company is coatings, so painting, water tanks, ships. I've done skyscrapers in Pennsylvania, the Bank of New York Mellon, and now I've been growing through the company. I manage the west side of Ohio from Toledo down to Cincinnati, and then all of the coatings in Ohio, Kentucky, Maryland, and then I also run our fleet and I run our IT for the company. We're still under about 100-man company, so sometimes it's a lot to juggle, but that's what I do and that's my background. The reason I'm running for county commissioner is there was an open seat and everybody's complaining right now about everything that's going on in our community. I started to complain and I go, I want to try to do something about it. I want to get in and help. I want to help the sheriff's department. You know, our community's kind of getting overrun right now. I feel safety is an issue, even though roads and bridges I, gung-ho about. I'm more worried about the safety and supporting our sheriff's department and getting out and helping them. Even I keep hearing about the 911 center, trying to help support the people that are working in our community to protect us and give us good roads, the engineering department, the utilities department, and these departments. So that's why I'm running, and I appreciate your vote on March 19th.
Thank you, Matt. Very good. Everybody's doing a great job tonight, aren't they? Let's give a round of applause for all our candidates. Great job. Now we have another local candidate for Clark County, and it is Mr. Christopher Clark, and he is running for Clark County Sheriff. Good evening, Christopher.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Good evening. How's everybody tonight? Good. Thank you all for coming out. Before we get started, I just want to say, if you take a minute and say a quick prayer for my opponent. She's down with COVID, and I just want to say speedy recovery to her. So, my name is Chris Clark, and I am running for Clark County Sheriff, and I'm planning to be your next Clark County Sheriff. I joined public safety when I was 16, so the last 32 years, I've been with Madison Township Fire in South Charleston. Spent 26 years at the Clark County Sheriff's Office. I reside in South Charleston with my wife and my 3 kids. I graduated in 1994 from Southeastern High School, and after that I attended The Ohio State University, where I studied aviation and criminology. So at 16 I joined Madison Township, and for the last almost 17 years, be 17 years this spring, I've been the chief there. I started my career at the Sheriff's Office as a dispatcher in 1997 and worked my way up through the ranks, earning my rank every time, from dispatcher to deputy to detective, sergeant, lieutenant, and ultimately major. Most recently, I've spent a lot of time in investigation throughout my career. Most recently, I was in charge of the 911 Center. I was given a task by the Clark County Commission about 5 years ago to combine the Clark County and the Springfield 911 centers together. It was a big task that a lot of people said couldn't be done, and I was able to get it done. I was able to negotiate a contract between the 2 of them. We built a new facility. We got the facility up and running, and that facility still needs some help, and I need to get back in there so we can get this done. A lot of the surrounding agencies, a lot of fire departments are having a lot of problems with the 911 center right now, and it needs somebody in there who knows how that operates and knows what needs to take place in order to get it fixed, and I'm the guy who can get that done. One thing I also did was, the last couple years of my career there, I designed, implemented, staffed, trained, and deployed the very first Clark County Special Operations team. I was their Special Operations Commander for the last 3 years of my career, 3-4 years of my career, and that needs to grow. So what I foresee for the Sheriff's Department, we need to get a handle on the budget, and we need to get a handle on staffing. Staffing is out of control. and along with that comes the budget. In the last 2 years, they've spent over $2 million just in overtime alone. That is outrageous. Anybody who runs a business, if you have over $1 million in overtime, that's jumped up 388% since in the last 7 years. That needs to grab your attention. You need to do some restaffing. You need to look at what you can do to improve that metric. So with $1 million, we can put more personnel, we can put more cops on the street. We can solve the staffing issue. Right now, if you apply to the sheriff's office, it will cost you $20 to apply to the sheriff's office. It doesn't sound like a whole lot, but $20, when you're looking at inflation the way we are right now, can mean a lot to some young people who are looking for jobs. So in closing, I've been working hard. I've been with the sheriff's office 26 years, and I don't think I'm done yet. I've got a lot left in me. Early voting is happening right now, so if you get a chance, get out, vote, and I hope to have your vote on March 19th. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. I am the only candidate here tonight for State Central Committee Woman, District 10, Clark Green, and Clinton counties. Is that correct? I don't see any other candidates for that position here tonight for the woman or the man. So that means I will be going now, and then my son John will be going after me, and then we will go into the questions and answers. So I am Laura Rosenberger, your State Central Committee woman incumbent. I have served you proudly and honorably for 2 terms in District 10, which is 3 counties, Clark, Greene, and Clinton counties. I am 100% pro-life without exceptions. I am endorsed by the Dayton Right to Life for the 2nd time, and I'm also endorsed by the Right to Life Action Coalition of Ohio for the 2nd time, I believe. My position as a political activist and a party member has always been against primary endorsements. This Clark County Republican Party does not endorse according to its bylaws. I do believe in issue-based advocacy group endorsements like the Dayton Right to Life or Ohio Gun Owners, because they let the public know where the candidates stand on certain issues. By the way, I'm also, according to Ohio Gun Owners, 100% gun approved, and I do have my CCW, but I am a terrible shot, Mr. Rosenberger will tell you. So I try not to carry because I don't want to hurt anybody. What I have done at State Central Committee can be very controversial to some. I did co-author the resolution censoring the 22 state representatives who threw Derek Marin under the bus, pro-life Derek Marin under the bus, and exchanged their vote for Jason Stevens. And I do believe that did affect what happened in 2023. So I did co-author that resolution at state. We did censor them, and we did not endorse them when the endorsements came up in January at the Ohio Republican Party. And to a lot of candidates, it's very important to get endorsed by the Ohio Republican Party because it's very lucrative. But we had a very positive historic shift this year at the Ohio Republican Party, and we didn't endorse anybody, I don't think. Very few, if any. So we gave the voice back to the people by not endorsing. Your voice had been taken away from you for a very long time in primaries, okay? The primaries should be up to we, the people, not any party at the local level or the state level. Again, it's nice to have those issue advocacy groups endorsed because they let you know where we all stand. But at the party level, we should stay away from Republican Party endorsements. And that's something that I'm very proud about with the Clark County Republican Party, that we do not endorse. Anyway, a little bit about me. I am the only candidate running for State Central Committee who is a party member. And I guess, wow, that went by really, really fast. My husband's back there going like this. Oh my goodness. So That's it for me. I will now hand the microphone over to my son, John Rosenberger, who's running for State Central Committee too. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you. I would like to start off by saying that I am not running for State Central Committee because she told me to. That is not the reason I'm running. I'm running because I want to win. So the definition of politician is a person who is professionally involved in politics, especially as an elected person or a candidate for elected office. By this definition, every single candidate is a politician. I am one as well. Now, what separates me from others is that I am not only a politician. I am a college student, and I'm working on my bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering. I see so much in our youth today that they don't want to get involved in politics. They say, leave me alone. I don't want anything to do with it. It doesn't affect me. Now, this is a very concerning mindset for our youth, and it's not looking bright for our future. I believe this can be in part due to the fact that most of the elected officials are old, per se. You look at the president. I mean, I don't think Joe Biden inspires the youth to get into politics. I don't even think he knows where he is when he woke up this morning. But that's a whole other issue. So the purpose of State Central Committee is to fundraise, use those funds to get Republican candidates elected. And in rare instances, we have to make appointments, and then it's to set an example for the county parties to follow. It's not a position where it pays, that you can't make a career out of it. It's not a position where you go to galas, you get your picture taken with famous people. That's not the point of State Central Committee. It's a position of responsibility. Now, I believe I can fill those responsibilities. I have been involved at the local level since Obamacare in 2012 with the Obama regime. I still remember when I was smaller, as many can attest to. I was small at one point. I remember waving the No Obama sign at protests. I also remember in 2016, I dressed up as Hillary for prison. The only time I have ever been paid in politics because I did not want to do that. So I have been involved in that. I'm also very pro-life. I have been endorsed by the Dayton Right to Life. I've gone to abortion mills, prayed in front of them. I worked against issue 1. I convinced as many people as I know that abortion is wrong. I also scored 100% on the Ohio gun owners. I am a strong advocate for firearms, recreational, hunting, self-defense, all forms. There is no exception to the Constitution. And I have been involved in many local campaigns. I helped the Republican Party build this absolutely wonderful headquarters that allowed us to have this great event here with so many candidates so that so many people can see them all today. So I know what the local level wants. I know what you guys need because I've worked with so many of you in the past in campaigns and issues, and I believe that I can represent the party to you all. That is the purpose of the State Central Committee, is to represent the party to you all and give a voice. Now, I know what you guys want, and that's why I'm going for this position, because I believe I can fill the responsibilities, and I would love to have your vote this election. Thank you all.
Hey, why did you seem to have so much more time than me? Did you rig it back there? All right. Well, thank you. That's it, unless there are any other candidates here. She's got question. All right, she gets number 1.